another distinguished Nigerian who is going to be sharing with us well-informed perspectives about our lives and how we are all evolving as a people. Now, how would you react to this impression or to this story or to this disclosure that we have a certain ancient civilization here in Africa who enjoyed the reputation of having been the earliest astronomers who actually discovered many of our planetary systems? How would you react to that? Or how would you react to the story or a similar story that the tree of life has also been captured in so many historical revelations or historical disclosures right here on the continent of Africa? Then how also are we going to respond or look at how traditional religion has come to play a key role in how we have evolved as a people? Today we have with us, as it were, a very brilliant young man who has taken up the simple challenge of having to let us share the knowledge or the disclosures or the historical perspectives that IFA can actually impact on our lives today. So what do I mean? Where are we going? So are we saying that Babalawos and Dibias, that they have relevance in our time and in our history as of today? Or how do we now connect IFA traditional worship with what the Gen Zs are looking for or what they are doing? Or are we saying to ourselves that IFA teachings and ethos, are they limiting our lives? Are they restricting us? Or are they helping us to navigate and aspire to that global space which everybody is trying to get to? These are some of the things that we're going to be looking at, because we know that modernists are saying that the digital search engines like Google may actually become the current, perhaps relevant Okwa that we should be using in today's world. All these we'll be hearing from our guests. Just stay with us. I'll be back shortly.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G. Entel. Live more. Hey beautiful, your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight. Now reading page 3. Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G. Entel. Live more.
Yes, thank you for staying with us. And so you have met OLUWO OLAKUNLE, OLAWOLE, that is our distinguished personality who is here with us in the studio to share with us his own perspectives and informed position on how modernity or modernization and our cultural heritage can actually interlink. You're welcome to Close Flow.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning.
Now, how do I start? Where do I start from? Let me look at your enthusiasm about nation building, because also you're also a political stalwart, as it were. But we will leave politics first. Then let's go to. So, in ancient times, we heard that the Dogons, one of the, here in Africa, were actually the discoverers of so many of our planetary systems. So how come Africa seems to have lost all this library of information? What happened to us?
Well, it's wonderful to be here with you. Good morning. My name is OLUWO, OLAWOLE, OLAKUNLE. First of all, I need to correct that stereotype that the media has actually portrayed to us, that Africa has lost it. Africa has not lost it. We only fail to utilize all of this knowledge. It is there. It is readily available. It is something that you can always tap into at any point in time that we want to look into it. It's a science system, that is a query system, that is on filter, that is there, that is still there. If it is still very much alive today, it is one of the things that if we as a people go back to and decide to want to look into something that can be engraved into our own level of national consciousness, it is there. So as long as we want to key into it, we can always tap into that energy. It is sustainably available for us as a people. But because we no longer see the need for it, because we no longer see the need for us to tap into the science of our own spirituality, the science and the technology of our own cultural environment, we don't see any reason for it or for us to look at it from a position of national consciousness.
Wow.
As a people, every race has a means through which they advance in their own science, in their own technology, and all of these things are embedded within the language and culture of that environment. So a science is a product of a particular is a product of the culture
yes,
of a particular race. So every science that is ingenious to a particular race is advanced upon by closely looking at the culture of that race.
Wow. Now that is deep knowledge. Now, if we're going to reflect profoundly on that, so you are saying that learning and knowledge, they are not intricate, they are not intrinsic. You have to acquire it.
Yes.
That's what you're saying here. Okay. Now, but so why has it become? For instance, let's look at another issue. Would you look at the Trinity that you have in the Christian faith? Is that the same thing equal to the trilogy of the Supreme Being that you have in the IFA corpus?
We need to separate the fact from the myth. First of all, in our own spiritual system, we are not a polytheist environment. We are not a monotheist environment. We are a polytheist society. We have Olodumare and we have Orishas who are ministers in their own regard, who have particular assignments that are specific assignments, and they have energies that are intrinsic to that specific assignment. We have Shango, we have Ogun. Ogun will not go overboard to do what is within the framework of Shango.
Yes.
Shango will not go overboard to do what is within the framework of Oshun. And all of these energies can be transferred. We all did science. We know that the principle of energy conversion says that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but can be transformed, can be created, can be put together, and can be transferred to another place or to another form, whichever way we like.
Yes.
So we can convert the energy of Shango or Ogun or Oshun or Oya, irrespective. First of all, as a people, we need to first of all understand the energy that is embedded within the framework of Shango for us to be able to know how
to convert it. Yes.
You get my point. So as a people, we don't believe the Christian the Western world analogy of science as embedded in their own culture does not resonate directly with ours. Ours is different. So for us to be able to understand science from our own point of view, we need to first of all understand our own culture. Understanding our culture is a template and a yardstick for us to understand science from our own point of view.
Okay, well, brilliant, I must say. But again, the question, or the larger question still that is raging or that is trending, is that if you're looking at spirituality, if you're looking at spiritism, if you're looking at religiosity, so are all these factors part of the evolution or development of a people? Are these?
Yes, because you cannot understand the evolution of man without first understanding the evolution of society. And it is the study of society, the study of nature, that we begin to understand the society as a whole. So if you want to understand how Nigeria was,
yes,
or now Nigeria is going to be in the next 50 years, you need to understand how Nigeria was 100 years back. So you cannot now use the template of America. You cannot study America to now determine how Nigeria is going to be in 100 years' time. So as a people, for us to be able to understand the modernism in our own spirituality, we need to first of all look back. We need to first look inwards, look backwards as to what has been the spiritual framework of our society. How have we been communicating with nature from time immemorial? And that knowledge gives us a yardstick or a template to now work upon to determine the future effect of our own spiritism, our own spirituality vis-a-vis as a culture, as a people.
Okay, now let's bring it home a bit. When you say, when we understand where we are coming from, then we can begin to speak, to where we are going to be, maybe in a couple of years. Now, but can IFA divinations, for instance, answer all or speak to all situations, all circumstances, all actions, all consequences in our lives? Can IFA divinations address all these issues?
But before I answer that, permit me to a little bit explain what IFA divination is, so that listeners and people who are with us can, with their own framework, from the framework of their own mental self, can understand the essence of what we are discussing. First of all, I will not explain IFA divination from the concept of a normal or general babalawo. I'm going to explain IFA divination from the concept of a computer system. Okay. IFA divination is an unfailing query system that has been developed by our ancestors for us, that has never failed. It's a query system. It has no emotions. It's a computer query system.
You mean it's coded?
Yes. It's a significantly scientific system. It's a significant spiritual scientific process. Query system, emphasis on query system.
Yes.
You know, the query system.
Questions, yes.
And you get answers. I don't know but then permit me to explain one of the verses of IFA in Ejogbe.
Yes.
IFA ni otoro tara ajakuru gbele agba didi kiridi ọjọ́ tí a pín ọjọ́ la pín ẹ̀là ọjọ́ tá a pín ẹ̀là la pín ọjọ́ ìdẹ la pín fún oníwọ̀n kẹ́gbẹ́ àgbẹ̀ la pín fún olú ìbíní òwò la pín fún òyìnbó okùn la pín fún ọmọ olú ìràdà ènìyàn la pín fún olú igbó etí la pín fún wọn ọ̀run ìlà tòkè tasẹ̀ tolúwẹ̀rí wọ́n ní etí ṣe etí rí bara mi ẹ̀gìrì lọ́gbọ́n tó jẹ́ pé etí lásán lẹ́rí tí pọ̀ wálé wọ́n ní ìṣèbí nítorí àwọn ọmọ tòun ni wọ́n tó bá ń bẹ ní kó àwùsí tó bá dáhùn sùúrù ilé ajé wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́ wọ́n á lè ṣe tí wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́ wọ́n á gbọ́ òun á tara ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá bá wọn ṣe kọ́ lè bá ní ajé wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́. What that means is this. The verse of Ifa was talking of Orumila's account as to when Olodumare was sharing the energies of life. Olodumare is too big to be one way, which results to the fact that every means of communicating with the cosmic is valid. So as a people, you need to understand your own means of communicating with nature. So our own means of communicating with nature is embedded in Ifa. Now, when Olodumare was sharing the energies of nature, only Akmi fún ìbíní, Akmi Owo, the commerce and industries to the Western world. Our Akmi the ethic there is relevant to the query system, so which means that in this part of the world, we are supposed to have an unfiltered and undeniable access portal to communicate with the cosmic environment, which gives our forefathers the ability to make enormous research as to the ethos of life and the ethos of culture and the spirituality of our own scientific realm as a people. So because every race has a progenitor, Orunmila is a progenitor of the black race, according to the spiritual ethos of Ifa, according to what Ifa has explained. So if we have been given a query system, so it shows that for everything we need or we lack as a people in this part of the world is something that can be gotten by ourselves by virtue of the query system that Olodumare has given to us. So we have a query system. So Ifa is not just something that according to the stereotype of the word that we have. No,
just to divine, just to
Ifa is an extensive, unlimitless query system through which all the works, all the questions of life can be asked. Okay. So as a people, it's only a fault that we have as a people, that we have limited the efficiency of our own query system to a level of we can as a people decide to advance or to expand the exigency of that query system to a level of what should be our educational policy as a government, what should be our own policy in terms of technology, what should we inculcate, which model of governance should we even inculcate. So we already have a query portal. We have just chosen not to utilize Akure portal.
Okay, I like that again because off the cuff, I was just going to ask you. So, in a rapidly technologically advancing environment like we have right now, you are talking of IFA being a query system that is codified and therefore it's relevant even for the future. But how come that IFA did not tell us that technology will get to this level? Or why didn't we ask? Why didn't we get that advanced information that technology will be where we are today?
Well, it is our fault because we failed to see technology from the way it is. We feel as a people that technology is defined by the Western version of technology. We are an already advanced technology.
Yes.
We are already advanced technological community. Let's take for instance. Let me ask you a question. Whether it's a myth or whether it is real, there is a concept of Egbe. Now, Egbe is a concept where an energy can be moved from one point to another without any external motion. In the first law of motion, there has to be an initial force to move you. However, in our own spiritual system or our scientific system, there is a force that is not physical that has to move you from a point A to point B. So we as a people have been advanced enough to see that how can we move an object from point A to point B without the effect of a physical force, physical external force. So it shows that as a people, we are advanced than the technological perspective of the Western world. So without push. However, Western science says that for motion to occur, there has to be an external force that is physical. Are you with me?
Yes.
So it shows that we as a people have over time looked at technology from the prism or from the lens of another man's lens. So we need to, we not even go back. We need to look critically at technology from a different point of view. We are first of all a technologically advanced country. Now, our technology is nature friendly. We are not a people that defies the odds of nature. We don't use our advancement in technology to defy the odds of nature. We use our technology to augment the nature around us to ensure that our society is sustainable, our society is livable, our society is progressive in itself. But because we failed to look at technology from our own point of view, we have decided as a people to look at technology and advancement from the Western point of view. We are retrogressing technologically.
Okay, now retrogression or not. Now, OLUWOLE, so Babalawos, are they priests? Are they prophets? Are they diviners? Or they are just ritualists?
Well, we are all ritualists, first of all.
Okay.
Ritual is the process of continually going through a process in the event that you want a specific result. Sitting down.
No. Let's redefine that again.
Sitting down.
Ritual, yes.
Sitting down on this show this morning, you are doing a ritual because it's something you are doing continuously because you wanted to achieve something. So that is ritual in itself.
Yes.
Now, a Babalawo is a paradox of knowledge. A Babalawo is a philosopher, is a scientist, is a technologist, is somebody who understands the programming language of the cosmics and who translates it to what an Ologberi or an uninitiated can understand. It's somebody who, so to say, the government should be paying his salary because for somebody to understand the language of nature and can be able to apply it and translate it in a way that is ingenious, in a way that is useful to the advancement of society. I think such people are people that are supposed to be regarded, who are supposed to be sacredly regarded in our own world. So Babalawo is as against the media stereotype. Babalawos are not laggers. Babalawos are not people who are to be stereotyped. Babalawos are not illiterate they are not riffraffs as some people refer to. Babalawos are advanced scientists, the advanced philosophers whose ethos. In the Roman Empire we have the likes of Plato and the likes. They are the Babalawos of their time. They are the ones who ensure that the advices and the philosophical tenets of what they are doing are embedded in the nature of the cause of the advancement of the society of Rome. So as a people in Nigeria as it is, we should have priests who over time do divination as to the cause of the advancement of this country. What is this country? Where are we moving to? We have a ecosystem on ground already. But then how do we query our own system, our own ingenious scientific system to ensure that we even know the future of Nigeria? We have presidential candidates, additional manifestos here and there. But then the question is this: as a people, do we know what exactly Nigeria is going to be in the next 50 years? No, we don't. How do we now develop a developmental plan for Nigeria without knowing what Nigeria is supposed to be in 50 years' time? So for that, I think Babalawos are advanced people who society should regard.
Okay, we again appreciate that, but now the question would be, so why are the proverbs, the stories and the poetries called from IFA? Why are they not written down? Why are they only restricted to the oral tradition? Why is that? Now you are giving us an example now. Babalawos are scientists, but these scientists have not impacted that knowledge practically, because if you don't have the narrative, then you cannot apply science. So why are we caught in that trap?
Well, first of all, we need to understand that everything will not go west. First of all, recording or putting down information, you need to first of all appreciate the awos who have done over time. For you to have passed down unlimitless knowledge for generations over generation for hundreds of years without losing touch with the reality, shows that this is a sustainable educational system. First of all, for it to have moved beyond the century, it shows that it is sustainable, and it shows that it is not only physical writing that we can document our thoughts, our expressions, our knowledge. So our father advanced to the level where they could document the oral traditions, the knowledges, and the ethos, and the scientific, and the codex of our spirituality in an oral formula, in an oral version. So it shows us that we have a system of education that is different from the system of education of the Western world or the world at large. Our system of education is ingenious to us, and that's what I keep telling people. We need to understand education from our own point of view. In time memorial, we have professors from childhood. Which means that he can actually choose a career path from the heart, from the music, and all of this part. And then we find out concurrently which part of the Anyo tribe is he going to move in his life. We know his life path, and then he becomes, we hand him over to a master of that in that field, and then he learns directly from childhood from the master in that field. We need to look at that type of education system. It's not the current education system where at first I studied electrical engineering at first. I currently study information technology. Yes. But then at first I knew that in primary school I did about 13 subjects, and then moved to secondary school, just read and that, and this 13 relevant subjects to my life. While I was studying information technology in university, in my 200 level, I was still doing biology and chemistry. How does biology and chemistry interfere with information technology? And those are the education system that we have now. It's not an education system that is designed to help us advance society. Education is a means through which you acquire knowledge that can be imparted back to society for the advancement of society. If any education will not directly advance society, it's not education itself. So even if you are a professor in any field, and that education that you might have acquired is not utilized to advance society, it's a total failure in the education sector. If you have to look at if you have to have an holistic view of our education sector, we should ask ourselves, as our education sector, as the model of education that we have in this country, has it advanced us as a people, or has it retrogressed us as a people? So we shouldn't look back. At a point in time when we looked at our own indigenous education system, were we advanced as a people, or were we retrogressing? Those questions should determine the kind of education model we have as a people. Okay, well, we are migrating slowly as a threat towards the space age. We will.
Yes. Now, so how do you see these matters you have raised here, some of the spiritual matters that you have raised here? How can you see their relevance in the technology of the new space? Everybody is now going to Mars. Some people are going to Moon. Some people are going to be living outside of the Earth. So, how do you see the relevance of such spiritual knowledge you have brought here to this future we are looking at?
Thank you very much. IFA is an unlimitless portal of knowledge, and that knowledge is in different stratas of societal endeavor. It's not just one part. So first of all, IFA has geographical tenet, it has philosophical tenet, it has scientific tenet, it has religious tenet, it has what have you. Now, as a people, we feel that people are traveling to Mars, people are doing to this, people are doing that here and there. Now we think that is advancement in the course. Any level of advancement that will alter the course of nature is not advancement. That's one. we as a people, our fathers are disappearing now. If you can travel to Mars, what says that you cannot disappear? Now, if there are instances where people disappeared and reappeared in places where they didn't like, it shows that first of all, our indigenous spiritual system understands the concept of geology, understands the concept of coordinates. For you to be able to disappear from a point to another point, it shows that the affair or the affair that carries you understand the coordinate of where to land. If you are now landing in a place that is not exact coordinate of where to land, it is something that we can now advance upon. We have the template on ground already. So when the first question you asked me, when I told you that we have these things, we don't need to find them. They are there. We just need to look into it,
yes.
Research more into it. We have a Nostradamus Institute in the United States. So Nostradamus was a philosopher, was a spiritualist who wrote a lot of prophecies.
Yes.
He prophesied about Hitler. If I even wrote the name, he wrote the exact name of Adolf Hitler, wrote the exact name of Stalin and all that. The United States government looked into his prophecies, and they created an institute to continually research all of his prophecies. That is how a society develops. We have people.
We have similar things here,
and we are not looking at it. And then you want us to compete. First of all, you have stereotyped us that we are evil, we are ritualists, we are killers, we are maimers, we are people who we are suicidal reject, we are blah 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 blah. And then after all the years of downtrodden and all of these things, we still come out stronger. If I need for him, it means that it is somebody who is a great philosopher, someone who has a great level of thinking, that looks at the net petals of IFA and they understand the concept of IFA. Now, as a people, tó bá wá ní ìdénú tí a ò kú, wọ́n tẹ̀ wá mọ́lẹ̀ a ò kú, wọ́n gbá wa lójú a ò fọ́, wọ́n kì wọ́n láyà ìgbọ̀ngàn wọ́n lé wa, wọ́n fà wá, wọ́n ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ fún wa, àwọn ò rí wa pa, we are still surviving. If you, at some point, the custodians of the knowledge of IFA and Orishas, they took all our wise and our intelligent people out of our land.
Yes.
And the funny thing was that the riffraffs and the societal rejects became the custodian of that knowledge. And the knowledge still didn't end, still didn't die. They were able, out of their drunkenness, out of their humanizing, out of their riffraffing nature, they were still able to contain and reserve that knowledge for our own generation, who is now coming to change all of these mantras. Now, if you are now saying that we need an advancement, we need that, we need this, it is for us to look deeply. It's for the new generation of Awos, and this is a clarion call for the Babalawos, the Yanifa or Orisha, who, whether you have just 1% of the knowledge or 2%, whichever percent of the knowledge, we need a platform where we can research and we can look inward into the knowledge that we have for the advancement of our own society. Okay,
well, that is it. You have heard from him. So if you are Babalawo, if you are Yaifa, please join us in this conversation so that you can discover again what OLUWOLE is trying to say here. When we come back, I'm going to ask him, there is something about the FA codification that we need to clarify. Binary systems, base 2 arithmetics, are these possible links between what IFA is saying and what those notations are all about? We'll be back. Just stay with us, okay?
We must dilate the eyes. We look for if they have cataract, look at the back of their eyes. They have glaucoma. You know, we do a full workup for them.
You remember insurance trouble with their eyes. You remember with Australia.
We'll be looking deeper than we ever looked in before to ensure that we close all the loopholes.
It manifests as physical suffering.
Every edition is an arresting conversation with distinguished Nigerians from various strata of the society, bearing their minds on how we can realize the Nigeria of our dreams. Join us live on Close Flow, Monday, every week here on NT2 Lagos Network Center. Close Flow. The conversation is about you.
Thank you for staying with us. OLUWO is still here, and I know many of you are eager to join the conversation because he has invited you. Whatever it is that you think that you have, he wants to see if you can embellish it and spread it to impact on our lives and on our nation, because we are seeing how Nigeria can develop. He's saying to us, yes, we have elections coming up, but Where are the agendas? What are the developmental agendas? What are the set goals that can actually change the narrative about Nigeria? You have a role to play as a citizen. So that's what OLUWO is trying to ask you to do. So the numbers, quickly, you need to take down the numbers. If you want to hear his philosophical voice, then you can call us on 080-5975-3044, 080-5975-3044, or just send us a text message, which is faster and easier, to 080-6350-8434, 080-6350-8434. If you have a WhatsApp and you have data, then send us a WhatsApp message and your queries to OLUWO, and the WhatsApp number is 080-2038-4130, 080-2038-4130. Let's get going. So call us quickly and let's move this conversation to the practical step. Now, OLUWO, just before we went to that break, I was raising the query or the issue of now we know that in Yoruba evolution, base 2 was used, as some kind of arithmetic formula. So the codification that you spoke about in IFA, the oracles that we are talking about, you are saying that some of them are like in two forms, and like that. So what is the link?
First of all, you need to understand that the language of the cosmic is numerical, and
the language of the cosmic is numerical.
Yeah. So the
360 degrees is part of the language of the cosmic.
Yes. So if I need
yes, that's what you said earlier on.
It's scientifically, I told you earlier that if I has different tenets, scientific tenets, mathematical tenets, and all of these things. So in the mathematics of IFA already says that I am in support of 2, not 1. So it shows that the base, the smallest base of IFA is 2. And you also notice in the codification of the language of IFA that is in 2s. So which shows that life is based on the concept of polarity, Ire and Ibi. So the polarity is in the positive and negative of life. So we are already talking in mathematics of IFA now.
Yeah.
So if it now says that is to show that I am not only of a positive polarity alone. For us to have a balanced and equated world, we have to, the level of the energy of positivity has to equate with the energy of negativity for us to have a balanced and neutral world. That's what IFA is saying from the beginning of time. Now in the OLAWOLE system, the OLAWOLE is a 2x4 quantum matrix chain, which is you are surprised. The OLAWOLE is a 2x4 quantum matrix chain, and it is embedded the configuration of different letters. It shows that within the framework of the binary system,
yes,
we can inculcate or we can infuse about 256 different programming language in a 2-base binary system. That's what IFA is saying, and that's the concept of the OLAWOLE system, binary system. So the mathematics of IFA is we cannot say that we are not advanced. That's just
a point we are
already
highlighting here.
We are already advanced. We just chose to look at advancement from the prism of another man's lens. We have our own level of advancement. We are already, if some of the things that we are doing research on, it's there.
And now, OLUWO, let's come back to one disquieting aspect of all this. Everybody is still saying that this knowledge you're talking about are still, as it were, banked in oral forms. And it will be difficult for others to share in that knowledge if you cannot pass the information, if you cannot speak to those who want to learn. We change that narrative. How do we have to correct that somewhere?
First of all, we have the issue of patency in the US scientific field.
Yes.
In the world general
intellectual property,
patency, and all of these are basic issues that we address, that had already been addressed in our own part of the world. You get once of there are some places you get to delay buy a lot of kifaye and all those. They will tell you the patents, those who owns the intellectual property, and they will now tell you that for us to release this intellectual property to you.
Yes.
Another thing is the issue of security. We are a people that has been riddled with colonialism and all sorts of things. And the ways our father felt that they could keep and they could ensure that we don't want to be we don't want our knowledge and all this to be stolen. The world at large is trying as much as possible to tap into and steal and cut away with our knowledge system. But then I'm saying, they cannot see anything. Oh, they didn't come. Oh, they didn't come. So basically, the ethos, the deep lines of all these things are still, I can assure you.
Okay.
They are still there.
Okay, well, now the questions again are that are IFA teachings and ethos limited or restricted to the Yoruba land, or do we have other practitioners in other parts of Nigeria, Africa, and even the rest of the world? Do we have IFA practitioners as well?
There's a verse of IFA that says, "Adifa fun Olodumare, Ifa mama ko gbogbo ede kaakiri aye." It shows that first of all, the language, the scientific essence of IFA is not limited to us as Yoruba. However, you know that if you want to teach me anything, you have to teach me in the language that is best suitable to you. So, but then, IFA is across body. There is IFA in Trinidad and Tobago, Cuba, Benin Republic, Cotonou, Brazil, name it. And then the knowledge is even being translated to different languages, Portuguese. The same way, there is always the aboriginals. And then the aboriginals, you can decide. Christianity, the English language was not the aboriginal language of Christianity.
No.
So some people took their time, took their resources because they wanted the English people to have a clear-cut understanding of what is being taught. They tried to translate it to English language. So that is it. Every race has a means, a already codified means of communicating with God. If I now want you as a different race to understand my own means of communicating with God, it shows that I have to translate the ethos of that means to a language that is understandable by you. So IFA as a whole is embedded and given to us, the aboriginals, in a language that is systemic, that is ingenious to us. If you as a French person want to understand IFA, you can now translate it. So, however, there are every language has a need, every letter has a need, embedded in a different level of energy. The Yoruba language is a very high energy level language. And it is also part of the programming language that we talking about. In programming, you hear of high level programming language, yes. and I laugh when I hear those programming language. I say that the vowels of Yoruba language are thick, high level language programming language, and as such, Yoruba ni ojú àpá ò lè dàbí ojú ara. The primordial language, the primordial language, even as it's translated, you know that as Christianity was translated, as the Bible was translated over time, it begins to lose the vibration of the energies of the languages in it. So, primordially, Yoruba language is the primordial language for IFA. However, if you want to understand IFA, I don't think there's a reason for you to want to understand IFA at a level where you'll be able to name or attack those who are the primordial or the aboriginals. So, those things were also kept because of our own sanctity.
Okay, now one other area that people are querying is the fact that they say this deep knowledge which you have shared with us here now, this that you have expressed here, why is this so? Well, okay, they are already entrenched in IFA definitions, okay, as you have already indicated there. But why are they no longer being employed or deployed to what, well, governance or to realization of our dreams as a people or goal? Why is it now that even how did Africa in itself become, as it were, colonized with all this knowledge that we have shared with us here? How come?
If ogun tó bá dání tó bá kó ni lọ ká wọnú ilé wò. So it is for us,
because of
irrespective, for 400 years, the Western world tried as much as possible to infiltrate into Africa. For 400 years, I read history, I studied history concurrently. For 400 good years, you know what it means to try as much as possible to infiltrate into a people for 400 years without success. And then for how many years? Colonization didn't last. The exercise part of colonialism didn't last for 100 years.
No.
So it shows that within 50 years, they were able to colonize almost all Africa. Why? It shows that there was a crack in the wall. It is people within ourselves who sold out. It is ourselves who told the infiltrators and the colonizers that if you want to catch this person, this is what you do. If you want to catch this person, this is what we do. Those are one of the reasons why this knowledge we are taken back into seclusion. Because it was through it was our own knowledge that was used against us and don't forget that it is a query system. It has no emotions. It has no what have you. So
that's no bias.
It is unbiased. It is a mathematical system. If you know the almighty formula, you get the result. That is how it is.
Okay, now going forward now, so why do you think that traditional medical practices have continued to be relegated in spite of what you have just disclosed to us? Right now we have herbal knowledge, we have botanical knowledge, we have, and yet when we now say traditional medical practice, people still consider it to be more of evil than of good. Why is that so?
Well, I think that's one of the reasons. That's one of the issues, and I'm happy that I'm on MTA saying this. The government needs to look deeply into the workings of Nollywood, and I keep telling people Nollywood has actually entrenched negative stereotype on the culture of the black people, of Yoruba people and Africans at large, and across the board, across Africa, Nollywood is a very big industry that different industries in sub-regions are looking up to, and the things that we do, the information that we put out has a lot of effect. I was born in a deeper life family, and growing up, I watched a lot of Mike Bamiloye, and I know how effective the stereotype has actually affected I had to do a lot of cleansing before I could be able to wipe away all of the things that Dr. Mike Bamiloye was able to impact by the movies that the Monzayan films did in our lives. So it shows that over time, over the years, and I noticed that it's an intentional and systemic approach to demonizing what it has. Because at some point, the practitioners, most of the Nollywood filmmakers and all that, they all have OLUWOs. And they go to Babalawo's. Some of them come to our places to do divination, to do for their own personal life. I'm saying it on live on TV. They come to different OLUWOs and to find a way to ensure that they have progress in their own walks of life. However, how can you come to a place, you come to a temple to seek solace, to seek solitude, in ensuring that there's a progress in your walk of life, there's a progress, there's a furnishing in your career path, and then you now use that career path to demonize the same place you come to. It's absurd. So Nollywood as a whole has actually entrenched the negative stereotype upon the people, upon our young people, and that negative stereotype has affected a lot of things, a lot of psyche, a lot of the way people approach. And as much as at the time we tried, some of us practitioners, we tried as much as possible we felt that it was lack of sensitization. And then we started using our social handle, we started doing all the things we could. And then to my utmost surprise, we realized that these people knew what they were doing, and then they felt like negative stereotyping of our culture is a means of making their product or their business sell, which is wrong. I think in some other countries, we watch movies and we try as much as possible to look movie production and all of these things are a way of directly or indirectly expressing the culture of the people to the world. And we watch Korean movies, we watch Chinese movies, we watch different things, we watch Indians and Americans, and you see that the Indians, the Americans, the Koreans, they propagate properly, emphasis on properly, the culture of their people and the films that they make. However, it's surprising. It is only in Nigeria, it's only in this part of the world. You see people come to my place and they are shocked. People look at me and say, no, you are a fake person. Because the stereotype that Nollywood has given to everybody is that before you come to my house, I must tie one red, white thing my eyes, I must be putting on rags, and it must be in a banana plantation, they must have a red background and all of these things. And I feel that, is there no censor board that is censoring all of these production that are coming outside? What is the work of the industries and the boards that are looking at do these movies even pass through screening? Yes. Do they go through the test of the quality or the competence of our own culture? So how do we even put all these things out without even vetoing it? Who vetoes these things? These are questions that we should be asking as a people. Who vetoes? Because beyond the profit that Nollywood is going to make, it's indirectly damaging the psyche of the nation, and as such, as the National Television Authority, it is a better platform to tell the world. And I know that there are ministries of culture, information, which are viewed whether in Lagos, whether in the federal government, who should be monitoring all of these things. And you cannot, because you want to. People have investors. People. I understand that some of the Nollywood actors have people who invest, and then who will say, okay, we'll say, put down this money. And in business, you actually listen to investors. He who pays the piper, they take the tune. Now, who are those investing in? Who are the marketers? Who are those? We need to ask questions, because if we really care about Nigeria as a country, if we really care about the progress of this country, we should be able to define what Nigeria is within the framework of our culture. We keep saying that we are a cultural society, we are this, we are that. We only express culture by the value of our attires that we wear. We don't express culture in the teachings. In schools, you go to schools and they say the child is speaking vernacular, a language that is indigenous to it. The indigenous language is the first, scientifically is tested, that man's indigenous language is the best language to lecture. So how can you now tell me that my mother's language, the language I was born into, first of all, I was born into a Yoruba land, and then you begin to beat me as a person for speaking a language I was born into. It is indirectly saying that God is stupid for have created me as a Yoruba person.
Okay, all right. Let's come to the wise part, because after all, the Nigerian government already has instructed the mother tongue or traditional language should now be used in primary schools, across the country. That's the federal government actually issued that by President Buhari. Now, one thing again that you have also referred to, and that is also trending, is the fact that traditional religion are often characterized, as either inhuman, bloody, evil, or full of witchcraft and all that. So where did that come from? Was that the same value that our forefathers were actually sharing with the world, or did we get the story wrong somewhere along the line?
Let me quickly analyze some disparity. People don't know that there is a big difference between a babalawo and onishegun. More like saying that there's a big difference between a doctor and a pharmacist. Baba Alawo is different from onishegun. An onishegun is an alchemist who understands the energy embedded in each matters of every plant and root, and knows using the energy of conversion to say, okay,
yes,
this is the energy embedded in a way, and for any problem I have, this is how to utilize this energy for that problem. A babalawo is a doctor who does diagnosis to say, come, what is the problem? So because we don't know. And we can veto that out. Let me, like one of the presidential candidates say, let's go and check, let's go and verify.
Yes.
We can go online to verify. You will realize that majority of those who find them, you will find in the heart of whether ritualists, whether human ritual, all these things, they are not traditionalists. They are you. How can you say that somebody Kazim Ustaz is a babalawo? How can you be Kazim Ustaz and be babalawo? How is that possible? It is visible to the blind. It is visible to the deaf. It is clear. It is crystal clear that there's a big difference between doing the alchemy, negative alchemy, or science for whatever means you want to do it. There are pastors who do jazz, yes. Yeah. There are pastors who come to us to do jazz. It is because of the ethos of our own work that we decide to say, come, no, we don't want to interfere in the lives of people. We are gentle people. We are going people. We are easygoing people. We are. In fact, we are the greatest enablers of peace in the society. We are peace builders. We are peacemakers. We are peace builders of our brothers. So if, because of the fact that we are peace, we decided to say, come, it is the Oromila was the one who designed the populist manifesto of Omoluabi. And as Omoluabi, as it's wrong. So if you look deeply, if you go online and say, okay, those who have been captured, those who have been taken with people's body part and all that, look critically into them. We cannot begin to do name calling. If you look critically into them, you realize that these people are not even traditionalists. But because the media has over time stereotyped the babalawos, olorishas as people who use human parts for rituals, the moment anybody is being captured to have or either in possession or whether allegedly in possession of any human part for ritual, it is directly said, it is immediately said that the person is a traditionalist. We are not all traditional. You cannot be a traditionalist the moment you are being caught with somebody's head in your hand. It's wrong.
Okay, now one other issue that is on the table is a question of why do we now have, because the IFA issue is one of the agents or one of the messengers of IFA's translations or divinations of messages. Now, issue, as far as other religions are concerned, is expected to be evil. Now, so now you have explained to us now that no, it's not possible. We are gentle people. We are positive people. So what is the role of issue in the way that IFA divinations are being shared?
Thank you very much. Issue, I've said it countless times. Issue is not, I will never be Satan. we don't have Satan in our own spiritual cosmology. Issue is even on Satan. We have, truthfully, we have in the binary system, I was going there.
Good.
We have good and
evil.
Yes. So the greatest good is IQ, life. Okay. That's when you go to my area, life. The opposite of life is death. So which means that the greatest evil also is death. So now after that we have other, we don't call them Ibi, we call them Ajogun, because of the fact that we try as much as possible to run away from every energy of negativity.
Yes.
We still don't even call these people Ibi. We call them Ajogun because we believe that they are the negative force of nature to balance the positive force of nature. So we have F1 and AD.
Just like we have it yin yang.
The F1 and AD are almost like Satan. We can say that F1 and AD is Satan because F1 comes silently to you and whispers to you and says, go and sleep with your own daughter. And the Yoruba say, F1 and then you having done that, the negative act already, F1 will not leave you. The same F1 will not tell you, you get it. So, but Eshu, on the other hand, is not Satan. Eshu is part of the beauty of our own spirituality is that we have in between those divides. Eshu is the first fences. Yorisha, who is their shelf? For Eshu is the energy that makes everything, every thought comes to life. So if
by your own cosmology.
By our own cosmology. So if you say, okay, OLUWO, if any is like a messenger, and you say, okay, I want Ogun to do something for me. Ogun gives the authority. You should carry it out.
I see.
If you say, okay, I want to marry. And the verse says that if you want to marry, the energy of marriage is within the cosmology of Oshun. You go to Oshun. Oshun gets all the things ready for you. And then Oshun says, okay, it has been approved. Just like saying that, you come to a ministry and then the head of the ministry approves your petition. And it gives you to an officer in the ministry. So, okay,
like the permanent secretary.
The permanent secretary, go and ensure that this thing happens. So Eshu is in that department. Eshu is neither good
or evil.
Nor evil. Are you with me? Neither good or evil in the sense that he is even in one of his eulogies.
Yes.
Ani Eshu obelekun sukun keru obelekun. He shows that if you are
showing enough sympathy,
he is sympathetic enough to cry on your behalf for you to even be afraid. The cry for me is even too much. Obinimi shumi keru obonimi obonimi shumi omoimi shujonimi lo obelekun sukun omekun sunjolekun lo Eshu baba mi ohun to la loja kò ní tó ń tà lọ́jà tó ra lórí ó ṣe ń lọ Eshu má ṣe mẹ́bọ̀ èmi ni kò ṣe. Now Eshu now is an important, the Yorubas call him Olailu, the wealth of society.
Now, but wait, the question now is, so where did we get these negatives about Eshu? Where did they come from?
Well, it came from Ajayi Crowther and the interpretation of Satan in the Bible. While Ajayi Crowther was trying as much as possible to convert the Bible to Yoruba language, you will notice that every religion that came into this part of the world tried to leverage on the template of our own indigenous. They say OLUWO. OLUWO is an Orisha name. It's a naming system. We have naming system.
Yes.
So before the Western people came, we have a means through which we name ourselves. Our naming system is so advanced that we know the cosmology of each society, each family. We know that the family is the bedrock of society. And we say that, okay, you know immediately in that family that the energy of success in that family is founded in Ogun. So our fathers will not give you a name that is not embedded within a name that will help your path in life. So somebody who is now Ogun Jobi will now change his name to Jason Jobi. Is Jason within the foundation of that family? Are you within?
All right.
So
my producer is saying that if I allow OLUWO to remain here, we are not going to leave the studio today. So how do we say it now? To say thank you so much for coming on the show.
Player.
Thank you so very much. What we are going to be asking for will be, so what do you see in the future for Nigeria?
Well, I am happy that a lot of young people are waking up. A lot of young people are beginning to understand that, see, after all, our spirituality is not evil as the media has portrayed it. And people are, especially those of our young people in the diaspora,
Yes.
people who have traveled and they realize that I have a lot of clients who go outside of the country and say, Oluwo, I was rushing to go to church in the morning. I just got to church, only 3 people in the church. What's happening? The 3 people in the church, they even came to collect food for themselves. So, it's because you've been scoped that if you don't go to church, you will not make it. So, as a people, I am happy that our young people are gradually coming to the realization of our own self. Because the first strata or the first step towards advancement is conscious realization of self.
Okay.
However, in realizing self,
time is up.
That realizing self is obviously useful in every sort of environment. Whether you're an alchemist, geologist, technician, the knowledge of the found research is viable, is utilizable in all strata of societal level.
Thank you so very much, OLUWO. He has spoken up about what we need to do about ourselves. Let's go really discover our own knowledge about our own beginnings and see how we apply that to the future that we want for our country. So until next week, it is bye from us. But don't forget, go to all our social media handles to make sure that you can connect with OLUWO, OLAKUNLE, OLAWOLE. Thank you very much. Bye for now.
Bye.